You have the momentum from beating Gen G, from beating T1. Missing it out. WE to each other. Obviously, we're on the team together.
Sending Ruler up there with it.
Missing stun, locked up, isolated, but still just able to dash out in time. Shun going back forward, Glacial Prison gonna go wide as Shun is locked up. Trying to heal, trying to get away. Elf doing the same. He has the flash, has the cleanse. Will use it to escape the decimating smash, but On cannot do that, and he's turned off. Been now put in the trash by JDG.
JDG getting themselves to match point, and that favorite role that we awarded them, they are living up to it for now. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here so fast. And I think the 2 games that they did win were very impressive. So I'd like to look at what we saw throughout the series, and maybe we bring the board up again. What do you think?
All right, it's time. Because when we left, we were still feeling fairly optimistic.
Were you?
Well, up until, not really up until the moment.
More optimistic.
More optimistic, but I think we're now going to get rid of this.
I've got some updated standings, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Been on Gwen.
Right.
Nice, good.
Been off of Gwen.
Oh. And that's where we introduced a new addition, which is...
Well, this is the problem. It's like, can they solve for that, right? Can they find something else to fit that same role? Because I think that, you know, again, Kennen is a great team fighter, and I thought that was kind of maybe that other pick that could slot in, but he doesn't have anywhere near that same side lane pressure. Even if you get an early CS advantage against Sion, it doesn't really amount to much.
And I think that's the big one, is the fact that you're not able to actually play these sides as effectively as you did in Game 2, right? We saw how good they were at using Yagao to look for picks in that bot side jungle, specifically on Tonight, and then using that side to collapse on mid. So I think you do need to go back to that style. And the big question mark for me is if they do bring out something like a Camille. I think Camille has been a really big pick for Bin. His solo QID is I love Camille. And if you want to play split push, you want to play something that can dive, Camille's kind of it.
That works. It also helps if you can do something in the bot lane. Now, Vayne, listen, I understand her. I'm also from a different age. Like, she was in a time when, like, you know, things were a bit easier when you were a bit short range, and it was maybe not easier to play the game, but you didn't have as much long range as you did now, not as many knockups and stuns and everything. I think I love it, you know. I love that he went out there and picked it, but it wasn't helping the situation.
I love the idea of Vayne. You know, as a concept, I think it's great. When it comes to actually executing on it, we see
when you're
the problem
dreaming,
is,
it seems so good in your head.
In theory, it's great, but then in practice, what happens is you get set behind early and you are not able to play the game at all because you are extremely short range and dependent of the rest of your team to set up for you, which then never happens.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem here, is that there is no real setup for the Vayne in this, right? You're heavily reliant on like an Annie or Kennen, right? But I think if you're going to take the Kazakhs, don't take Vayne, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I would have loved to see something that was a bit more tank oriented, because like Vayne got a ton of buffs on 13.6. Like, her tumble lasts longer, she gets the increased damage against tanks. There's a bunch of beefcakes on the opposite side. It could have worked out fantastically, but they're just not quite able to get that setup. And Kanavi did such a good job of shutting them down in the early stages. There's just no hope for Elk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kanavi was taking over the early game, and you know, when you're going up against something like the Kazakhs on this edge one, you already kind of have an easier to execute game plan later on. So this was, you know, such a high barrier to entrance, it feels like, for BLG's comp. They had to get massively ahead, but they just couldn't.
And this is something that I think has been the biggest difference maker in not just this series, but all of the wins that JDG have had.
Yeah.
If Kanavi can get going, there is nothing you can do, right? The moment that JDG get true control of the game, he will keep diving, he will keep making plays, he will keep snowballing everyone. And as long as you can't contain that, even with Shun, I think doing a great attempt at trying to snowball early, like when Kanavi gets plays like this, it feels like the game is immediately over.
And there's a reason that JDG have invested in this man, to make him the core of the team. Everyone else is changing around him, but Kanavi has stayed the same, and it's because he can play the tanks, he can play the stall. But when you look back, he's been a massive carry player as well. Kanavi can do it all. He looks great, and the team is able to rally around him so effectively when the chips are down.
I like that you brought that in. He is the longest standing member, of course. He's been there for so long after his Griffin days, and also jonesing for that international success time and time again. Another pick that has come up in this series, which maybe didn't have as high priority, I want to say, in the series we've seen, is the Jace, particularly for Knight, who's been fantastic with it. Yagao also in Game 2, but that is definitely a surprise to me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's won all 3 games so far, right? And it's been mid Jace. It has not been top. It has not been, you know, flexed thus far. Knight really is known for a lot of these carry picks. Jace is definitely one of them that he was really good with on the LPL, and it does give them a lot of that early game power. It's something that I think can also move and skirmish really well with the junglers, which has been so impactful. And I also think it's extra good here for JDG because it gives them a side lane answer if Bin wants to play something split push, right? So when you look back to game 1 as well, where it was that Jax, you have Knight who can actually play sides against it. So I feel like it really fits the bill in a lot of different ways.
And what I think also has been important is that, which is in line with a lot of what JDG has been able to do, Kanavi ganks mid lane like once or twice, and after that, Knight, you can leave him alone. He actually is so consistent in then taking a small lead, and then as soon as he gets his eclipse, he goes for the aggressive plays, and the damage output is crazy.
Knight has been watching Bin, because Bin also gestured a 3-2 earlier on.
Look at this.
Look at this.
It's a
Bit disgusting.
Oh, that's actually more
41% damage.
That's more
Steam
insane than I
damage.
thought that it was going to be. It's crazy. What a power pick Jace is becoming, and what a fantastic series Knight is having so far. We previewed the mid lane matchup at the start of the day, but overall, Knight's surge for international success, trying to replicate everything he's shown on the domestic floor for so long, Rob, is also one of those big stories for today.
Yeah, I think the fact that we've been able to get him for so long in the LPL looking good, especially when we got to 2020, picking up his first win, his first title in summer with top esports, but it felt like he kind of had to shed that behind and come across, join 369, the person that he won that title with on JDG, to get himself to the international stage, not only to get there, but to look as good as he is. It feels like Knight is someone who, for so long, has kind of been, I don't want to say like a vibe player, but he, like when you look at him domestically, when he has these really good moments, when he's playing and having fun, when he's smiling on the stage like you're seeing now, that's what makes a difference for Knight, and I think that's why on this squad he's really thriving.
And he's doing so well. BLG are up against it. Bin promised us 5 games. So what is our road to Silver Scrapes look like, or our road to kind of the Bin script?
Well, I guess the 3 keys to success I would have for BLG is 1, get you out a stable 1v1 matchup, actually, you know, in the mid lane. Get him something that he can actually go toe-to-toe with Knight on. Obviously, Jace worked really well in game 2. I would say Shun needs to get the bot lane ahead, because I think that is just a must. Kanavi has been having more of an effect in that bot lane. And then third and final thing I would say is Bin needs to have individual agency to pressure through side lanes, because if he can actually take his early laning lead that he's been able to quickly build, and make pressure through the side lanes, that opens up the map so much more for BLG to find plays, find 4v4s, and really kind of avoid the 5v5 where I feel like JDG has been running it.
It's interesting because that's a lot. Looks like a lot to me, Chronicler.
Yeah, it's also more easily said than done, and it also goes into the draft, right? JDG has seemingly such a good grasp. They tried leaving up the Gwen. They're definitely not going to do that. And without the Gwen, it really does feel like we were saying, what do you do? Cannon clearly didn't work out. Is it Camille? Is it Fiora? Fiora obviously doesn't team fight nearly as well, so doesn't seem like there's an easy answer.
Interesting one, but BLG is on the blue side again. That's also where they got their victory in game 2, so the Silver Scrapes dream is alive, but it could also be JDG closing it out here. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Shox. What a moment we are here for and ready for what could be the final game of MSI this year, with JDG looking to claim a prize that was promised to them so many years ago. I mean, Ruler won Worlds in 2017 and then has been chasing both a domestic and LPL and the MSI title. Knight, seen as the best mid laner in China since 2019 and has never been able to really back it up at an international event. There are just so many stories behind this JDG team, and of course for BLG, they need to bounce back in this game if they're going to take it all the way to 5.
Yeah, Bin wants to defend his title still.
Yeah.
The current MSI champion, obviously winning last year alongside RNG. Let's see if BLG can adapt. The Gwen, of course, removed from the side of JDG. The Lucian also going to be taken off the board. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Van by.
True. Could be a Van By or could be a Ban Vi. Could be one of the two.
A buy ban going through JDG.
Vans by Bin for all your trucking needs.
Oh God, the trucks. All right, well, we still remain high priority on these carries, and this is the evolution that I want to jump into. Was the Zeri band on blue side forces then the Jinx band from the red side here, so then you leave up the supports. Rakan still highly prioritized. You expect the Xayah to go with it, and JDG.
Look at this though, Rakan first pick, which means that, well, I mean, there's no reason not to. Actually, this is really interesting, because I thought that the RE5 would be
Jace plus Maokai, maybe?
But it may very well be the direction. I mean, JDG could also just do 80 carry lock-in now. It depends how much they care about securing the Aphelios. Maybe from their perspective, they don't believe that BLG will go for the Aphelios. Of course, with the Maokai up, you did talk about it, Jace can be flexed. Has proven to be a very effective mid laner so far in the series.
It's just such a good one, too.
Instead, we'll see where they decide to go in the end. Obviously, Annie's still a possibility as well, but so far, Jace has been winning out in that matchup. Knight, especially on the Jace, has just constantly been barraging damage down onto BLG, and he'll have it once again for game 4.
All right, so now we expect the Xayah and jungle here, possibly. for BLG if they want to keep it even.
I mean, Vi Ari.
Yeah.
Like, Vi
Ari, bring the Ari back, yes.
Yeah.
Forgo the Annie completely and go with that kill combo. Level 6, hit that Jace where it hurts.
Gives you really good gap close onto the Jace as well. Vi locked in. The Xayah as well, which does make sense because you don't want to have the Rakan teamed up with something else in the bot lane. Xayah really facilitates him so much in what he wants to do, and now JDG looking towards a bot laner of their own.
I think the Aphelios makes a lot of sense. This does, of course, mean that for BLG, they're looking to ban away the Lulu. I wonder if they'll also ban away something like the Thresh or the Tahm Kench. Ari, of course, being removed from JDG makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the Ari Annie kind of expected, I guess, on that side as far as the explosive engage possibilities whenever you combo it with Vi. Meanwhile, the answers here from BLG. Try and whittle down on some supports, we expect. Take away from Missing's pool here.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a Talia ban come out from JDG as well. Something that we've also seen Yagao pair up with the Vi as well.
And Tahm Kench works well into that, because if Vi ever locks someone down with the cease and desist, you can gobble them out and make sure they get to safety. So the Tahm Kench ban from BLG.
I feel like they'll follow it up with a Lulu ban
Yeah.
to deny the Aphelios here.
Kennen actually going to come out. Okay.
Again, it's just a really strong zone control. As much as like it didn't look great from Bin in the last game, if Elk hadn't been so far behind that you really couldn't do anything through your AD carry, the Kennen does still give you a huge amount of presence in team fights. Gragas instead banned away by BLG, which hints to me maybe they're looking for the Jax in the top lane once again for Bin. 369's Gragas has been very good into that Jax.
I think it will be Sion Talia for BLG, and I think for JDG they'll do either Thresh or Lulu. It depends on what they value more. Because the thing is, if they don't believe that they're going to get the Sion and they want it, this would be a good time to lock it in. Perhaps you'd be worried a little bit about your damage, but in terms of frontline, I guess, okay, they're fine. So they have the extra safety from the Thresh. I think Thresh Flay can also be very effective into both the Rakan and the Xayah. Let's have a look now. What will the final lock-in here be for BLG? I did contemplate the Sion. I think that Talia is a given for Yagao. It's such a comfortable pick for him. I think it synergizes so well with the Vi as well.
Of course, the Gnar would work well with the Talia. You can Gnar
Safe
people
blind.
into the wall, as you say, a very safe blind. Silas, obviously, we have seen picked into the
Okay.
Maokai, and it will be locked in for BLG.
All right, and then they know 369 already sees his Gnar matchup.
They're just they're browsing through all of their options right now. JDG no. Yeah, I did consider the Silas, but I thought it would be a little bit too risky, just because like you are playing that melee into melee, like the Jace can have a lot of advantages. You also don't have a great ultimate to steal specifically away from the Jace. But the main reason why you pick Silas in this position is more for the Maokai. We've seen it so many times. We saw it at Worlds last year. Zeka, in particular, was a big advocate for the Silas into the Maokai. And I think that this is something that just gives you a lot more teamfight agency, and then you have the great follow-up with the Vi and the Rakan as well.
This is just such a straightforward comp here from BLG. After what we just saw in the previous game, they're trying to get back some stability. Vi here with the ultimate can go to either mid lane or bottom lane, looking for some focus early on. JDG have been so good, though, about setting up Ruler, and they get that Thresh Lantern for him for that extra safety to be able to reposition in the face of all this engage from BLG. So much dive here from BLG.
As we see the coaches, a fist bump on the stage, we are getting ready for game 4 of this series. So far, it has been 100% win rate to the blue side. We'll see if BLG can continue that going on. We'll see if Bin's prophecy can still ring true after this game. He predicted a 3-2. We'll see which of our LPL teams takes home the championship. So often MSI is an LPL-dominated tournament. We've seen RNG win it 3 times, we've seen EDG win it, and once again we will see an LPL team take home the title. The question is who? Is it JDG, the team that was built to succeed, the team that has been promised victories in essence throughout the course of the year, or is it BLG from 5th to finals and perhaps a title to boot? JDG 5 men strong going down towards the bottom lane.
Split map to be expected. 369 on this Sion. Wants to make sure that they can get vision in this bot lane. Will they go for the delayed invade? Of course, BLG already trying to scout it out.
The fans want more games.
Yeah, they do. There's more BLG chants than JDG chants out there. And we'll see if BLG can fight back. Because when JDG have won, it has been convincing. It's been suffocation. BLG have been grasping at straws to find a way back into the game. When BLG won, it was a lot more messy and a lot more of what people would call traditional LPL play. More skirmishes, more fights.
Yeah, we have been starved of the LPL fights that we were promised.
I mean, the last time they met, we had huge fights, 4v5 around a Baron, Knight, and Ruler, just auto-spacing perfectly. And this has been much more decided by who wins the early game, who manages to pick off a couple of skirmishes, especially around the Rift Hold. And then from there, whether or not the enemy team can find a way back into the game. Yagao already half HP, as you say. Of course, Yagao will have the Kingslayer when he gets up towards level 2 or 3, but right now he is feeling the brunt of Knight's gun.
So in draft, this is one of the things that I was talking about around the risks that you do have on the Sylas, especially starting with the E means that you have to put yourself in range of Knight. And he will have the push for the time being. Keeping my eyes on the junglers as well. Vi doing a full clear on the bot side of the map. Kanavi doing a full clear on top side. On gets a knockup.
We'll just put some damage down onto Missing. I like that from On, steps forward into Missing so that when Missing flays him, he's actually closer to Missing, meaning it's a lot easier to land the W knockup. A little bit of a micro interaction there from the Rakan to make sure that he could trade back effectively.
Then they get control of the minion wave there for JDG moving up, making use of that green gun for Aphelios. Poking away towards bottom side, and Yagao running out of consumables here, relying on the Doran shields and the second win regeneration with the onslaught of the poke from Jace in mid lane.
The hover from Shun. Knock up sidestep by Missing.
Ignite goes down, Missing has to flash away. Hook, there's a minion there. BLG have a bit of a savior, as if that hit On, I think he would have fallen, did still have the flash.
Ruler has such a health advantage here though. Elk ended up taking so much damage in the exchange, even though they forced the flash out from Missing. I think JDG's bot lane isn't too upset about it. We have push in top for Bin, but Yagao forced underneath his turret for now. That means that Knight will, of course, go for a little walk.
The investment from the jungler of BLG here, though, clearing only the bottom side, placing the ward, and then coming back up.
Here it comes.
So Knight is here, and Kanavi is on his way. Level 2 for On and Elk. Can you defend? Level 3 hit, Gleaming Poke going out as well. The heal, an immediate teleport from BLG will protect their AD carry and support.
Yeah, Yagao goes back, teleports right back out. He's just double Dorans with refillable here.
Kanavi going in, knocked up. Yagao trying to trade back onto him. Kanavi down to half HP. Long range shot from Ruler will put some damage back down.
And this is that problem I'm talking about with the jungle clears, when you're just clearing on bottom side first for Vi. Vi has to go back towards top side. Meanwhile, Maokai got an easy full clear off to the bottom side of the map, has that level 4, gets that bottom side Scuttle Crab and the pressure along with his mid laner. Chunking away a little bit, trying to get every little just tiny advantage towards bottom side that you possibly can.
There were a lot of little things that led up to that dive as well. The 2v2 trade that happened in bot where Ruler walked away with a big health advantage. The fact that Knight got a favorable trade in mid, guaranteeing him that push, meant that he could also move towards bot lane. But now it's BLG's turn to go on the attack. Let's see if they can find a play here. Should know deciding against it.
Yeah, both junglers know second respawns of Raptors here, so both playing around mid. The coveted Raptor camp. All you have to do as the Maokai is shadow Jace. Jace already has control of the minion wave, push it in, and come hover. Bottom side again.
I mean, this is what JDG have done so well. It's really shut down Elk and On, and with no vision around here, you can see the bot lane of BLG just having to pay respects. Backing all the way away. This is going to be a full plate over to JDG early on.
This is just picture perfect. Mid lane prio leaks into bottom lane. Every minion wave matters. That last minion wave, again, shoved in by Ruler, by Missing, with the support from their mid lane and jungle, hovering just in the fog of war, just with that threat.
300 gold lead already in the bot lane. We see about 150 in mid. And of course, Bin, with his isolated 1v1, building a lead once again. So far, he's done a great job this series. It was only really game 1 where we saw him not having a lead in the Jax versus Gragas matchup. But aside from that, the carries, Knight and Ruler for JDG, have consistently found advantages. Unfortunately for Shun, he's not really been able to have his presence felt on the map over the last few games.
And Bin knows he's got a long farm lane ahead of him. Goes for the 5.5-minute cull.
Well, if you know you're going to get an extra 100 CS, there's 300 extra gold for you in the end. Bin realizes, as you say, he's on a little bit of an island, but we consistently see Ruler step up when it really matters. Elk has been so strong for BLG through the course of their progression through the lower bracket against Gen G, against T1, but throughout this series, it has very much been the Knight show. And Ruler there to back him up when called upon. And when BLG are set behind like this, often they look up towards the top lane. They look up towards Bin on something like the Gwen to really be able to carry the later game fights. But here on the Nart, does still have agency, still can do a lot in a team fight, but doesn't have the same damage output as a Gwen.
Meanwhile, since the bottom lane was able to push back out here for BLG, Shun slips in on the Dragon.
Kanavi could come across, can just twist it, advance forward, look for the smite, still could even just go on to Shun. On coming across, but Kanavi has the smite. Looking to get that down to 600 HP, good hook from Missing, will keep on at bay. Kanavi needs to hit it, will secure the Dragon now, and BLG are left wondering exactly how that went down. Really just Kanavi coming across and spotting out Shun.
Well, Knight was able to move first. The bot lane also not really in a position to offer assistance. And Shun, I think he was just mainly concerned about the collapse. You also look at the level difference between the junglers. A full level advantage in favor of Kanavi.
And Shun didn't actually have the support of his bottom lane there, so now they're under attack. Kanavi, with his level lead in the jungle, with the power farming of the Maokai that, remember, started from the very beginning. Easy full clear for him, down to the bottom side of the map. Level 6 Maokai walking in, face check.
Shun runs away from
He's
it.
going to respect it, I guess, again, because of the pressure that Knight has in mids. And we talked about how impactful this Jace has been. We're continuing to see it again. The risk of running the Silas is how much agency it gives Knight over the matchup, and now Kanavi focuses his eyes on bot lane.
On will block it, Elk gets hooked, but the cleanser out immediately. Good Moonlight Vigil from Ruler, and On takes an absolute chunk of health. In the end, we'll be able to dash away and survive, but that's all Summoners burnt for the BLG bot lane.
JDG are just so good at utilizing mid-jungle to leak into bottom lane. They go for the dive, they get all the summoner spells out. Now Elk, all by his lonesome. At least he did get his level 6, so he has his ult to be able to stick around and pick up the minions.
I mean, JDG just continue to play around their bot lane so well. It's just so many little things where it's like that initial trade into the wave being in a good state, into then arriving at the right time. Just the coordination on the side of JDG is clearly world class, and they're using it to build a decent lead in this early game.
I love that the observers keep reminding us that top lane does indeed exist. Thank you very much. The Rift Herald is also up though, so now if you get bottom side push, it can transition into early roams towards Rift Herald. And again, this is such a big swing point for the game, these fights. So we'll see about the next cooldown on Maokai Ultimate, and showing yourself to the Sylas can be very detrimental, of course. Always have to worry about giving over that premium ult to the Sylas steal.
One of the risks, though, of playing towards this Rift Herald is Aphelios has red-white guns. And Aphelios takes towers basically quicker than any other AD carry. You can see he's trying to push in the bot lane alongside Missing, while Shun and Bin will take the Rift Herald.
And they're actually gonna, are they gonna double rotate the Zyrakan bottom to defend Yagao? They're actually trying to, they're gonna take Rift Herald, knowing JDD sacrifice it, and they're gonna get the 3v2 themselves.
Ruler going forward, there's the charm, he has a lantern, but the lock up onto Ruler. Yagao looking for more, he still has the flash, and Ruler will manage to escape.
Really nice from BLG though. They prey on the expected response from JDG, and that is a critical flash. Might come back to haunt them. Rift Herald picked up, plus they defend what was assumed to be a 2v1 on bottom side.
Elk not being there meant that they didn't quite have enough damage to get the kill, even though Ruler was so low. Silas doesn't have the most damage, especially with this itemization this early on in the game. Those cooldowns are also quite high.
Chucks the crystals at him. It's like, please.
He's just doing his best. But Ruler does get away with his life. As you rightly said, no flash. Now Kanavi hovering around top. I don't think they can really kill Bin here. Let's see if they... Of course, Knight moved into Fog of War. Bin has to be cautious of this.
You'll see it now. The ult comes out. There's the slow as well. Unstoppable Onslaught will get the chase down, and in mini Gnar form, that Gnar is mighty tiny. First blood over to 369.
I underestimated the damage. The chain CC was good from JDG. And now Jun on the cross map. The vision will come through from Ruler.
I think you just hard invest into this, right? Force Ruler missing away. You have the Herald. You can put more gold into Elk's pockets. Shun and On will walk around the corner to step out away from that ward, but even with missing staying around, there should be at least a couple turret plates. You can see the reaction coming out from Kanavi as well. He's just gone back to bases around the tier 1 right now, and with the Rift Herald down, I think JDG realized, well, the Herald will die. We are going to lose these plates, and there's not much we can do to stop it from happening.
Yeah. Bottom side plates picked up here for BLG. Top side, yes, given over to Sion. 369 did get one in the exchange, but you well know bottom side one's worth way more. I do, since we have all recalls right now, want to take a moment to talk about those top side wards. If we could scroll up in the river to the ward that Bin placed, which is in the brush right here. There is an evolution that has taken place because junglers, when that ward is placed so much, they hover outside the brush right there. The wards then move deeper into the river to see that little alcove, but Bin had his in the brush. So this positioning from Kanavi is what I'm talking about. You can hide right on the edge. If you don't go into the river, then brushed wards won't see you, but the evolution where top laners started putting them deeper into the river would see you. And that little difference there, he does get full comboed, so much CC with the Maokai ultimate. Nicely done by JDG. Kanavi leads with the ult, nice follow-up.
I mean, Shun tried to show us that last game, right? But he was spotted exactly by that wall that you're highlighting, Kobe. So, first blood to JDG. A much slower game than I was expecting.
JDG still 1,200 gold ahead, and a lot of that's got to be sitting on Knight. 20 CS lead for him.
Here we go. Maokai ultimate on Yagao.
Will Yagao use the Nature's Grasp? There it goes. Kanavi answers with one in response. The roots are going to come out. The dragon already secured for JDG. And now in the pit, Shun really caught out, but a good quickness charm. Elk not here to put any damage down yet. And he begins to dive in. Season assist onto Ruler as Elk looks for the damage. The Featherstorm coming out as well, but he just can't pull the feathers back quickly enough. JDG shut BLG down.
JDG walk away without a scratch on them. Clean fight, 3 kills, plus the dragon. This team is too good. They know BLG too well.
And they're just so well coordinated as well. It's 5 fingers making a fist and punching BLG into the dirt.
Just a great team fight once again from JDG. This series looks done and dusted, but let's have a look back at this fight. Yagao throws the Nature's Grasp down. Kanavi with the immediate response. He does secure the smite as well. And then look at the positioning of Ruler here. On tries to find an opportunity, flashes in, gets the knock up, but then the rest of the team immediately there to pivot. He has the lantern to safety, and this is what really splits up BLG.
And Vedius, that whole thing was a 4v3. Yep. Elk was walking the whole time during this replay from behind Dragon, only arrives at the very end to have a Featherstorm after the team has already been destroyed. The 3v4, they saw it, they wanted to counter it, but if you're not in position, if you don't have your timing, if you don't have your AD carry there, you simply cannot compete.
And if Elk is there, it's a very different play. The quickness into the Featherstorm, pull those feathers back. You can just burst through Ruler in that situation. Knight continues to show Yagao that he is currently the king in this mid lane. It forces Yagao out. Shun perhaps looking for something. Kanavi's going to match him though, and Kanavi has done this so well. Every time Shun looks for a gank, Kanavi is there lying in wait, and he's going to turn it around onto him. The Nature's Grasp coming out. Shun goes in with the Season Assist, tries to dodge away. There's a lantern there as well as Kanavi takes JDG's 5th kill of the game.
Uh-oh. JDG are going to start rolling over the game now. Knight had a 2-level lead. Bin jumps in for a little trade as he goes mini, but this is, again, the classic JDG gold spread. They don't care. 369's on his tank on top side. Everybody else is ahead.
BLG is very quickly crumbling. The underdog story may very well come to an end right here, right now. JDG is the one mountain that BLG have failed to overcome this year. And while expectations were high, everyone knew that it was going to be a difficult path. BLG, they need to start getting creative if they want to stand a chance in this game. If they just let JDG play the way that they want to, they're going to run away with it. So they need to start finding picks. They need to start getting a little bit crazy if they want to stand a chance of bouncing back.
Right now, Kanavi is the one who's making the plays all over the map. Bin does respect the fact that JDG could be collapsing and backs away to his tower. On the rest of the map, though, BLG really have nothing to farm, nothing to take, not even jungle camps to steal away.
Fellas, we're 15.5 minutes into the game, and the objective bounties are already showing.
Yep.
They can only show as early as 14 minutes. That's pretty early here for JDG. This JDG team was built to do one thing, win. And they have done that. And consistently, especially against BLG, they get second Rift Herald as well. They will deny any hope of that objective bounty shutdown for BLG. And then they can just rotate over once again. They have 369, bottom side, so consistent. AD carry plus support, moved into that mid lane.
LPL champions, of course. Oh,
Ult. They're looking for something creative as Knight is locked down. The chase comes out, but Knight flashes away. And they thought he got him, you thought he got him, but in the end, Knight still able to escape. Kanavi coming across to make sure that his mid laner survives.
You can see that BLG is trying. They are trying to find something, but JDG will not give them an avenue of attack. 5K is now the goal difference. The next dragon spawns in 45 seconds. And I wonder if BLG even feel confident enough to force it. They do have decent items. They have hit a couple of points, but the problem is JDG likely going to go back to base, spend some of that gold, hit some bigger spikes. Look at this BF now picked up for Ruler.
Also as well, in this situation when you're this far behind, often you'll think, well, we can't fight now. Maybe at 3 items we can take it. Maybe we can outscale. But looking at these compositions, JDG scale very well as well. The Jace poke is going to be so strong, the Sion's going to be unkillable, and then you have an Aphelios who will just hyper carry through the late game. BLG, as we've said, have to find something miraculous. And right now, there are no miracles in the offing.
It is a struggle for BLG right now. The dragon is up, and they're in a position to contest. They're going to look for the pick.
Quantum missing, hook goes down, Shun flashes into it, and the Nature's Grasp will not be enough to disengage. Yagao now caught up by Kanavis, and Yagao will go down to 7-0 in favor of JDG, and they are sending a message.
It is an absolute slaughter on the Rift right now. JDG are showing zero mercy as they will walk this Herald into the tier 2. They will secure themselves their 3rd dragon of the game. Bin will force a flash out of missing, but the damage has been done. JDG have just extended their gold lead even further.
Oof. All that BLG have been able to hope to get in this game.
Look at the steal. He's literally just jumping in by himself to try and take it. And Bin secures it. Delays the soul by 5 minutes, and now he's looking for more help, trying to trade with Ruler down towards the top side of the fight as Ruler flashes away. Bin doing everything in his power to wrest some control back into this game. But in the end, the Mountain Drake is his only prize.
Just as the hope was about to wash away from the team, Gigabin goes in. He gets an objective bounty shutdown. He gets a dragon for the team. It is a small drop in the bucket. It is one step, but it's something. It's something to build off for BLG. Knight's flash is down. They blew his flash in the last time they attempted.
We'll see him. Tries to get away. Shun coming in with the cease and desist as well. And as you say, Knight no flash. No way out for him. Cease and desist locks him down. The Eclipse shield will not be enough. And BLG are finally on the board.
Another shutdown for BLG. They're making it interesting here. Bin, another objective bounty shutdown.
The crowd going wild for objective bounties is not something I had on my to-do list for today. The wallet from Bin, Nature's Grasp coming out from Kanavi as well. Bin no flash, jumps back in. Kanavi will lock him up. Bin just trying to do everything he can. Will get the hyper out here, but in the end, shut down by Kanavi.
At the very least, BLG are finding something on the map. They're trying to create some chaos, disrupt this game that JDG have so beautifully set up for themselves. They will get a tower. They're looking to get another tower top lane. The TP will come through from Knight. Now he needs to be careful. Shun, ulti not available just yet. Does he need to be careful?
Immediately Shun loses half his health. Yagao trying to come in from the side as well as Knight dives forward. And the Manamune Eclipse combo is just too much. You could kill him, but he'll take both your heads.
Call an ambulance, but not for Knight. 2v1 double.
Knight gets revenge on the mid jungle of BLG. And they will quickly convert that into the Baron. He flashes the top esports logo to remind Yagao who he benched as he joins JDG and is looking to take them to their first international trophy.
Baron for JDG, 20 minutes in. They are 7,000 gold in the lead. And the golden left hand of Knight just took down Shun and Yagao.
Yeah, smushes them into the ground with his sweeper. He knew as soon as he spots Shun there, all in. Hammer form buffs, really, really nice. Takes him out, and then Yagao is trying to peel for him. No hope.
It's been said before, but we'll say it again. This was the night that was promised. Domestically, he was a titan, but internationally, he could not prove himself. But here at this MSI, he has cemented himself as one of the top mids in the world, if not the top mid in the world, as he's looking to lead JDG to their first international title.
And the entirety of JDG have shown us just why the LPL and they are to be feared. BLG put on a good show getting through the LCK #1, #2 seeds, but in the end, their nemesis, the demon on their shoulder, continues to loom large. The 4 times these teams have played this year, JDG have won every single one, and they are looking to do it once again. Missing going forward, the hook onto On, not going to be too much, but there's good poke from Knight, and now in the bottom lane, JDG are pushing in to open up the base. Mid lane for 369, the rest of JDG down towards the bottom side. That inhibitor tower already down to 10% HP as Kanavi goes for the engage, and Jun is just locked up and just shut out of the picture. Knight diving forward, knocks Yagao back. Bin trying to go mega, but he just can't find any way to get in. The Nature's Grasp out again as JDG look to close it out.
JDG with a massive pick on looking to siege onto the Nexus and looking to win it all.
4 players and 2 Nexus towers in the way between JDG and their MSI title. The cannon minions helping them as BLG just retreat to the base. Bin TP's away, he knows it's done. And JDG are the 5 fingers of Knight's golden left hand. And they will claim the prize that was promised. JDG, your MSI champions.
Knight gets the tiebreaker in the Ping Chung battle here over Yagao, getting that international title, coveted. And JDG, that international super team, built for success and acquiring success.
And what a performance by them it was today, as we see them step up to the MSI trophy. JDG following in the footsteps of EDG, following in the footsteps of RNG. The LPL era of dominance continues. Let's send it down to the stage for Law and the victorious JDG for the trophy ceremony presented by Mercedes-Benz. What a performance it was from all of JDG. Obviously, you look at Knight, you look at Ruler, so consistently the carries. Knight today, especially so on the Jace. But everyone on that team did exactly what was needed of them in every single moment.
Kanavi, the best jungler of the tournament. Absolutely massive for them. JDG, they had the meta in a headlock. They knew it from the beginning. They had the perfect pieces and played it to perfection.
This was the evolution on last year's roster. This was the super team that was promised. JDG failed at Worlds last year to T1, but not only did they get their revenge on T1 and MSI, but they were able to secure themselves an MSI title to boot.
Going to go down as well. JDG destroyed 3 before they could blink. It's a 4 versus 5 missing. He's just walking towards them. Cyclone is going to land onto everyone as Kumiushi gets knocked up. He tries to open. It's a double kill for Ruler. The turret is going to fall, but the stun is just massive. Low health bars absolutely everywhere as Kanavi's going to be the one to take down Owner in the end. And it's 2 kills for JDG. Double knock-up to come forward on the Wombo combo. Will connect. The Kha'Zix's going to go down. Carrier will follow Faker. Takes Missing out of the fight, but now it's Ruler he has to contend with. And Ruler should be able to land a couple of autos. Gets the double kill. Well, Hook is going to land here as Faker just says, we're going in. Moonlight that vigil is kind of massive, but Ruler's going to take down Faker. Jace is huge, but he's dead, and it's a double kill for the Jinx.
Right there, Bin finally leaping in. They're trying to kill him, but they can't do it. Ruler, are you kidding me? JDG might just be the best damn team fighting team in the world. Again, the body block there to make sure that Ruler is untouched, but finally a hook's gonna land. But no, again, the scatter. They just will not let Ruler drop. JDG so good at protecting the president. The president's about to rain hell. JDG are just too damn good.
Supposed to go, and Knight will not be found healed. Bin TP's away. And
London, let's hear it for the 2023 Mid-Season Invitational Champions, JDG! And now please join me in welcoming to the stage Naz Aletaha, Riot Games Global Head of League of Legends Esports.
Thank you, Laura. And congratulations, JDG, our 2023 MSI champions. You have showcased some truly exceptional League of Legends on this stage, and you have shown the world that you and the LPL are a force to be reckoned with.
恭喜 JDG 获得了本届2023 MSI 的冠军。你们在本次的比赛舞台上展现了非常卓越的英雄联盟游戏的内容和比赛的竞技，同时也向世界证明 LPL JDG 是最强的。再次恭喜 JDG。
2023 MSI 우승을 축하드립니다. 오늘 무대에서 정말 눈부신 경기력으로 LPL과 그리고 JDG가 정말 무시할 수 없는 강력한 힘을 보유한 팀이라는 것을 증명해내셨습니다. 축하합니다.
I also want to take a moment to thank the City of London for being such gracious hosts to us. We love London too, and a big thank you to all of the fans here at the Copper Box and everyone watching from around the world. Your energy, your passion, it is so felt, and you have made this mid-season invitational truly unforgettable. So thank you all. Now please, London, give it up one more time for your 2023 MSI champions, JDG.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Naz. And now with that, it's time to hear from our newest MSI champions, starting with the head coach, Home. The expectations towards JDG were immense coming here at MSI. How does it feel for you to cement the LPL and JDG as the best region in the world?
가장 먼저 감독님께 질문 드리겠습니다. 사실은 토너먼트 시작부터 JDG가 우승할 것이라는 큰 기대를 받고 왔는데요. 이렇게 LPL과 JDG가 정말 세계 최강 지역이자 팀이라는 것을 견고히 증명해내신 소감이 어떠신가요?
일단 그냥 사실 쉴 때도 선수들이 이렇게 사실 그래도 힘들었을 텐데 쉬고 싶었을 텐데 솔직히 열심히 연습도 해주고 또 심지어 솔직히 랭크라는 숙제까지 냈는데 애들 해주고 그냥 다들 선수들이 너무 열심히 해줘서 오늘 이길 거라 생각하고 있었고 그래서 그냥 열심히 한 선수들한테 감사하다고 말하고 싶습니다.
I just want to say thank you to all my players because they were working so hard for this moment. Especially, I was even giving out homeworks to play solo queue, and then I know that they were working so hard for this moment, so I was confident that we're going to win today.
And a dominant victory, of course. First question for the players is going to be for 369. We saw the rivalry between you and Bin over the year. Today is the 5th time you beat him on the Rift. How personal is this victory today?
第一个问题想问到369选手，其实369选手和冰选手之间的对决可以说是历史渊源已久了。在今天的这场对决当中，已经是你目前为止第5次在今年击败他了。你觉得这场胜利对你个人来说意味着什么呢？
我觉得就是 意味着就是反正就是赢了嘛。然后不过冰选手确实也是挺厉害的。
From my perspective, we got this win eventually, but I do think Bing is also a very strong player.
Definitely. Feels a good victory, of course, for you. Kanavi, next up here. JDG trusted you throughout many iterations of the team. You've been with the team since 2020, hoisting the trophy today, staying throughout all these years with the team. What does it say about the trust JDG has for you and your achievements?
카나비 선수께 질문입니다. JDG가 카나비 선수와 정말 오랜 시간 함께하면서 언제나 엄청난 큰 신뢰를 보여주었는데요. 드디어 오늘 이렇게 MSI 우승컵을 들어 올리게 되었습니다. 지난 수년간 정말 다양한 로스터와 함께 하셨는데요. 이렇게 JDG가 카나비 선수에게 보내준 신뢰에 대한 생각은 어떠신지, 그리고 드디어 이렇게 MSI 우승하게 된 소감은 어떠신가요?
첫 국제대회 우승하기까지 4년 걸렸는데 이제 앞으로 좀 더 나은 모습 보여가지고 남은 LPL 서머나 이제 롤드컵도 계속 우승할 수 있도록, 그리고 팀이 좀 더 발전할 수 있도록 더 열심히 해야 될 것 같아요.
It took me so long, for about 4 years, to finally win my first international title. I just want to keep it going until the spring season and also Worlds title.
It's just the beginning of the journey. And Knight, LPL superstar, but you were still waiting to prove yourself internationally. How important is this MSI victory today? And is it the beginning of a long side of trophy?
下一个问题想问到 Knight 选手，其实 Knight 选手一直是我们 LPL 非常厉害的一位中单选手，但是好像 Knight 选手一直在等待像这样的一个机会证明自己。你觉得在本届 MSI 上获得冠军对自己有多么的重要呢？这是不是意味着你在下一个阶段将开始引领时代呢？
就这冠军对我来说就很重要吧，就拿着也非常开心，就证明我是有实力在世界上拿成绩的。
Actually, I do think this MSI 2020 trophy means a lot to me. It proves that I'm a stronger player. I deserve it.
Definitely, you deserve it. And Ruler, you won it all now. World champion, LPL champion, LCK champion, MSI champion now. Are you finally the best ADC in the world?
룰러 선수에게 질문입니다. 드디어 정말 모든 것을 다 이루신 것 같습니다. 월즈 우승, LCK 우승, LPL 우승, 그리고 MSI까지 우승하셨는데요. 이제 당당하게 내가 세계 최고 원딜러다라고 말씀하실 수 있을 것 같나요?
그래도 아직은 세계 최고 원딜러라고는 말할 수는 없겠지만 올해는 저희가 주인공일 것 같습니다.
I want to wait and see. Not yet, but I think we are the main character of 2023.
It is JDG's world and we live in it for now. And missing, I'm guessing that today's match was personal for you. I saw the flash emotes between you and Elk on the reef with the WE emote. How important and personal was it to defeat a former teammate? And what does it say about the bond you have?
今天我们在比赛当中看到 Missing 选手和 Elk 选手在游戏内都亮了 WE 战队的表情。我们都知道你和 Elk 之前都是前队友，你觉得今天这一场胜利赢下来之后，对你个人来说意味着什么？同时，你又是怎样看待自己和 Elk 选手之间这样的作为前队友这样的一种联系呢？今天赢下前队友，感觉怎么样？ First of all, I want to give credit and give a big thank you to all of JDG staff. And in terms of Elk, the bond with me and Elk, I do want to play against Elk one more time in the next finals.
Friendships on the Rift are the best ones. Thank you so much, girl, for the help on stage. And with our newest mid-season champion crowd for now, it is time for one final honor here in London. Experts from every region have voted for the MVP of the 2023 Mid-Season Invitational presented by OnePlus.
was no opportunity. It's 369.
Yeah, he is going to flash in. Doesn't manage to get the body slam onto both of them, but it's still going to be fine. The Jinx is taken down, and Carrier just going to vacate the area.
Kanavi, of course, knows now that he has been spotted.
Blast cones his way over there. Kanavi trying to fight back, but already Owner is going to get the flash. He's into the brush, though, and Knight, he comes right in first blood for Kanavi. Well, there's the flash. Tibbers comes down yet again, but this time he manages to get off the Lamb's respite. The charm is fantastic, though. They take down the Rakan, but there goes the Kindred as well. Double kill for Knight. Is another fight for JDG. As now Ruler has to deal with him. Owner gets into the backline, but Ruler flashes. Oh my god, he gets excited, and Gwen is not immune today.
Now they're ready for the counter-attack. River's already dead, and Ruler got the money. They throw down the choppers, and they beat down the Guardians. Knight gets away back into the safety of the pit as Kanavi tries to buy a little more time. A shot from downtown from Knight, and Gory's running for the hills. Ruler finds another one, and JDG tear him in half.
London, it is my pleasure to introduce the mid-season invitational OnePlus MVP, Knight! Knight, congratulations. I just heard that this victory may be special for you, as is it your birthday today in London time? Tomorrow will be your birthday in China, but how does it feel to get the birthday win today?
恭喜奈的选手获得了本次比赛的 Finals MVP 这一项荣誉。其实今天可能对你来说又有一个特别的意义。从伦敦时间来讲，今天是你的生日；在中国时间，明天是你的生日。你觉得在这样一个特殊的日子里获得本次这项荣誉，感觉怎么样呢？
就生日能拿冠军就已经特别开心了，然后现在还有这么多人为我们加油，就很开心。
I'm very happy to get this honor, this Finals MVP on my birthday. Especially we have so many crowd here cheering for us. It makes me feel much better.
And you had the audience cheering for you throughout the entire tournament. Is there anything you want to tell the fans here today in London?
其实，在整个旅程当中呢，现场都有很多粉丝为 Knight 选手加油助威。在今天赢下比赛之后，获得 MVP 之后，跟大家有什么想说的吗？
就也谢谢大家一路支持吧。就我们京东也一路也不容易，就队员都很辛苦，就训练到现在才拿下冠军。
So first of all, thank you so much for your support all the time. And by the way, I also want to give credit to all of my JDG teammates. We have really worked so hard until today that we got this win.
An important win for sure. Up next, Worlds.
还有什么其他想说的？
就谢谢大家来支持我们。
Thank you so much for your support once again.
Christina, thank you so much. Knight, thank you as well. Congrats on taking the OnePlus MVP. I will let you join your team now. And London, once again for JDG, please.
Indeed, what a beautiful
JDG!
I think it was for the relift, but I'm going to say that was for Dada. Oh, it's beautiful. Win moments never get old, you know, and especially seeing it as such a crowning achievement for a team that was built for this purpose. So many times when the pressure is so high and when you are supposed to win, when you are supposed to beat a super team, when you are supposed to do it, not everyone can handle that pressure. But our champions, JDG, they did that and more.
An incredible moment for JDG. So long, so many of these players have been denied their moment in the spotlight, but now they stand in front of the gold. They stand proud and they stand for the LPL.
It's awesome. I love that you highlighted that. It's for the LPL. We had an LPL versus LPL final. There is no doubt about it. The strongest region in the world, very strong at every MSI. But it's really interesting how everything has evolved here, Chronicler, and that this is what we get. The first time that we could get an LPL versus LPL final.
It's fitting, right? We keep going back to it. The historical performance of the LPL has been incredible, so consistent, over the last, what, 6-7 MSIs. G2 stuck in there for a little bit, but outside of that, it has only been them being able to string victory after victory.
Well, I think the most impressive thing about JDG's win here for me is how dominant it was. They really did seem head and shoulders above every single other team at MSI, which is not an easy achievement by any means.
I think they're by far the most dominant team we've seen internationally in like 3 years, right? Because so many of MSI and Worlds over the last couple of years has been 5 games, underdog stories, but from the beginning, they were the favorites.
Yeah, and in the series today also, right, Dagda, it really was the JDG show.
Yeah, it really was, but I think it kind of solidifies the journey that they had to get here. The fact that in 2020, when they made it to Worlds for the first time, knocked out against Sunni, the underdogs that they weren't expected to lose to. Then they finally get back in 2022, and it's again knocked out by T1 in the semi-finals. It's been so long in the making. This team has had a roller coaster of splits, but finally they stand tall with the trophy, and it's been an incredible ride for every one of these players who've not yet won an MSI.
Yeah, that's it, right? You often have a lot of players that are storied in their own regions, you know, that a lot of people say of, oh, this player should have won a world title, this player should have won an international title of an MSI, but it's much harder than it looks, and that's why it is only such a few. And talking about the special few, look at Ruler.
Absolutely. I mean, now the second player ever to win LCK, LPL, MSI, and Worlds. Only Deft has also accomplished that, and that is just a ridiculous resume, almost impossible to duplicate. And the man has been doing it at the best of them for years and years and years and years. And the crazy thing is, the pressure is just going to keep mounting for this team because the expectations are now going to be even higher going into summer, even higher going into Worlds.
Yeah, and that's interesting to look forward to, right? Because as we saw it earlier about MSI, MSI is LPL's tournament. Now, MSI does look a little bit different this year, but a lot of that has to do with a very quick pace, not a lot of time to let your enemies adapt. We've seen historically at Worlds that the LCK is really good at using the time they are given in that format. So I know we can't predict anything, but I would like to get a little preview of what we may see.
Also, Yumi was banned, so that kind of helped the entire tournament out right there, you know. But
Ted had Yumi completely different.
but I do think
actually just give LCS the title then.
Exactly. True, yeah. At least when you look at the LPL, it definitely is a case of they come in swinging and they know how they want to play. But I think when you look towards JDG specifically, teams in the LPL have always had a very certain style. You look at IG when they won Worlds, it was a case of they were the strongest solo laners in the world at that time. When you look at FPX, they were the ones that really started this heavy roaming style with Doomby, dropping waves to make that style work. That's when they won Worlds. JDG to me feels like a team that can kind of do it all. When you look at this team, they've got so many wow factors across the board. They changed their style from what was domestically, we'll play towards our top end of the map, play around Kanavi, look for these invades as he lifts the trophy, but instead they came into this MSI and they're like, well, now we've got one of the best AD carries of all time. Let's just shift our focus down to that way. And it feels like there's not a single person on this team who cannot step up and be that threat.
And while I totally agree, you know, they are a very flexible team, they clearly had the one defined style for this tournament, right? You know, you talk about those other teams, those other LPL greats who have had a defined style that allowed them to get the international title. JDG's was team fighting, right? Yeah. That was what it was. And I think to your question, Jacques, you know, what are we going to see at Worlds? I think we have to figure out what the meta is going to be with 13-10 coming out. There's huge changes for midseason. It's like more changes than we even had for preseason, it feels like. So we really have to see what is the meta going to be, you know, which teams can really rise to the top. If this was like a pure carry top style meta, would it have looked different in the finals here with Bin? You know, and I think those are the kind of questions we're going to get answered, and that's why it's always so exciting come international time, is everyone develops their own regional meta and then gets to go international and see who's really the best.
Happy birthday, Knight! Are they gonna sing? Happy birthday. Nope.
I want to give him a gift, not drama.
And while we're focusing on Knight, right, I think it is always so amazing to see a player actually reach their full potential, right? There's been so many stories about players that, as good as they are domestically, when it comes to the highest level of play, it might be good, but they might not be as good as they are domestically. And look at him feeling happy, and understandably, what an incredible tournament from this man.
Hey, I'm seeing a trend. we were talking about it yesterday, Chronicler, because you didn't know, but we had a moment after FLICKR won Worlds that he had a broccoli that he was eating on stage. Knight is now eating a piece of the cake. You know, only the greats have a snack on stage.
I mean, oh really? It's all rigged. It's whoever has their birthday during Worlds is gonna win. You gotta figure it out.
Maybe, indeed. I mean, Knight, we talked about it, also our OnePlus Finals MVP, and we were discussing who we would award it to, and there were so many people that really stand out today. Of course, the entirety of JDG, so impressive. Kanavi had a monster of a series as well, but it is Knight, and Dagda, you said it's a lot of Jace, but he did it the best.
Yeah, I mean, Shen grew it quite a lot tonight. An absolute amazing performance on the Jace. The fact that he was able to get so many of these outplays, I mean, this one was absolutely spectacular. He's been playing this for so long, and back when you looked at him in 2020 when he first started to rise on the team of top esports, it was about these long range carries like the Zoe, like this Jace, where he was just free hitting the whole time, even things like the Syndra, and now getting to bring it out again on the international stage and style on it. How many of these plays would you see if you were to just line up a Jace montage?
And what's the coolest to me is not just, you know, the individual carry performance on Jace, but his Syndra peeling was incredible, right? The amount of space that he was able to buy for Ruler when he was not the focal point of the composition showcases kind of the depth of this player, and that he's able to not only, as we saw here in finals, carry by himself, but also make sure that if the draft is not about him, he can adapt and still get the most out of his team.
Yes, and overall, Knight and JDG were so incredibly dominant in this finals and throughout this tournament. I want to pull up the bracket because I do want to praise BLG just a little bit for their story, because comparatively to the best of fives that JDG played, and of course that was the victory they got for themselves because they went straight to those finals, it can only be commended how many teams they set aside here, you know, LCK 1 and 2 included, and that makes me very hopeful for the future. But remember, it was hard for them to even get here. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in summer, because at the LPL, it's heavy at the top.
I mean, that's the question. It's so hard to even qualify for these events because the LPL is such a deep region. There's so many teams. You know, it's not just a 10-team region like LEC, like LCS, but they have so many more teams. And BLG really did have a struggle to even make it. You know, 5th in the regular season, they had to run a gauntlet. I believe they played the most playoff games of any team that actually qualified to MSI. You know, had to go through the lower bracket for a lot of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly spectacular to see how far they have come, especially when you look at teams like EDG, Wavewall, like the guys like Rookie, the Shy, Scout, like some of the top talent that is in the LPL that hasn't made it across. Like, this is an incredible story for these guys, and I think it speaks volumes too, especially guys like Yagao, who were pushed aside from JDG. A lot of people are like, this guy is never going to be able to make it great. And then you look at this tournament and what they did in the LPL. They defied expectations and did such a good job the entire way through.
Well, I do think players like Yagao and sometimes other players, the champions as well, guys like Crown, and we were even talking about Barrel and some of these guys, I think need to kind of force us to reevaluate how we're actually looking at and talking about players at times. Because you don't have to be, you know, the Knight style player, the Rookie, the Shy style player to really enable your team and to be the very best, right? 369 played an amazing tournament, but very few games are really about him. It's about how he actually fulfilled his role in the team. Sure, he's not going to get resources. Sure, he's going to be, you know, kind of screwed over in drafts and in 1v1s, but he comes to the 5v5, he performs his role perfectly, and I feel like Yagao was that guy for the team in a lot of these series that they were winning, and it's something that I think he does deserve a lot of credit for.
Absolutely. Being a role player is so valuable, but being such a complete player, like, you know, everyone on JDG, then you can go wherever you want. You want to play carry tops, you want to play tanks, you want to play weak side bot, you want to play strong. Like, it's crazy. There's so many opportunities, and I think a wake-up call, rather, for a lot of regions around the world. With that, this will be kind of our finishing off of this tournament. I'm really excited for Worlds coming up. This is such a great lead-in to it. The fact that the LPL is saying, look at us. What are you gonna do? Not in the least the LCK.
Yeah, obviously, LCK, right, was able to get it done. And I think it's very fitting that the last Worlds Finals was the first time in I don't know how many years, but quite a few, that we had an LCK versus LCK Finals. Really hadn't happened since, I think, 2017. And of course, 2018, 2019, LCK really took a downturn. And then to immediately follow that up with the first ever international LPL versus LPL Finals sets the stage for an incredible Worlds.
Yes. And also maybe
LCS and LEC will do something too.
Hey,
we'll be there also.
We'll be there also.
We'll be in attendance.
We're gonna send 3 teams, maybe 4, depending on our, civil war.
Yeah, the Battle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for that. That's our World Finals.
Yeah,
right
it
there.
is. Overall, though, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in the last couple of weeks. The production team, as always, MVP, but also everyone here in London who was here cheering for the underdogs, cheering for the favorites, enjoying the show. Thank you so much, Copper Box Arena. Thank you so much, London, and everyone at home. And we'll see you for the start of summer. Bye.
But he's a tanky boy and he's difficult to kill. One more order will be enough, and Bin secures it. JDG now starts to push in mid, on hooked. The TP immediately, the flame chopper's down. Still looking to chase flash forward. Twisted advance, and now Knight is surrounded by BLG, the explosive gas. And Knight will not be found healed in the final moments to keep him alive through the unleashed power. And now Elk is just standing with a massive Gragas in his face. And JDG punish the over-eagerness of BLG. Bin puts the needle work down, trying to trade in. Kanavi going back in with a Cyclone, chases him down. The knock-up with a decimating smash for the healing from the needle work has been almost snips through Kanavi. Just keeping the rest of JDG distracted because the Infernal Soul has been secured. And look at what it does! BLG wipe away JDG. You have the momentum for beating Gen G, for beating T1. Obviously, we're on the team together.
Sending Ruler up there with it.
Missing stunned, locked up, isolated, but still just able to dash out in time. Shun going back forward, Glacial Prison gonna go wide as Shun is locked up. Trying to heal, trying to get away. Elf doing the same. He has the flash, has the cleanse. Will use it to escape the decimating smash, but On cannot do that, and he's turned off. Bin now put in the trash by JDG. Elk not here to put any damage down yet, and he begins to dive in. Sees this onto Ruler as Elk looks for the damage. The Feather Storm coming out as well, but he just can't pull the feathers back quickly enough. JDG shut BLG down.
Ulti not available just yet. Does he need to be careful?
Immediately Shun loses half his health. Yagao trying to come in from the side as well as Knight dives forward. And the Manamune Eclipse combo is just too much. You can kill him, but he'll take both your heads.
Call an ambulance, but not for Knight. 2v1.
And JDG are the 5 fingers of Knight's golden left hand. And they will claim the prize that was promised. JDG, your MSI champion.